Good morning. On behalf of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Northern California Healthcare System, the City of Rancho Cordova, Alpha Graphics Rancho Cordova, and Republic Services, I welcome all of you to the 11th Annual Memorial Day Ceremony. So if you've been here for 11 years, give yourself a hand. Our theme this year is remembering our veterans and honoring the courage and sacrifice of the Korean War veterans. First of all, I'd like to thank the Rancho Cordova City, River City Concert Band. I'll get that squared away. Why don't you give them a big hand because they're fantastic. There's about 62 in the band or something like that. It takes me back to when I was up at Indiantown Gap. We had the bagpipes in front, the drum and bugle corps, and then the Army band, 100 and some odd strong, and we marched every Saturday. Okay. At this time, everybody up and greet each other. We got the Consul General in front, the Mayor, they're all here. How about standing up and keep standing up and greet each other? All right, if I can have your attention now. For those of you who were here on Veterans Day 2016, we were privileged to have with us Doris Lockness, who was 106 years old and had served in the WASP as a pilot in World War II. Her birthday was to be on February the 2nd, 2017, and she passed away 2 days before. Dan Scoglin, our city councilman, also passed away here a few months ago, and he will be missed by everyone I know here. So if I may, we'll have a moment of silence for these two great people. Thank you very much. Now we'll remain standing for the presentations of the colors, post colors. These young men are from the Cordova High School, Rancho Cordova High School, U.S. Air Force Junior ROTC, and they under the instructors Richard J. Keyes, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force retired, and Raymond E. Kirkland, Command Sergeant Major, U.S. Air Force retired. And I think last year I goofed and said Army, and I apologize now. Post the colors.
Color guard, attention! Carry colors. Forward, arch. Color guard, ready, hold. Right wheel, arch. Ready, hold. Preset colors.
We'll now have the Korean national anthem. I should have said the Republic of Korea's national anthem. Sharon Abbey sing our national anthem. She is presently at George Fox University, Newburgh, Oregon, and she's a graduate of Bradshaw Christian High School, and she sang for us a couple years ago. Come on up, Sharon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, colors. Dismount, colors. Post, colors. Present arms. Order arms. Ready, face. Forward, march. Right, face. Forward, march.
Let's give them a big hand. They've done one fantastic job. And now if I can get the mayor of Rancho Cordova, Donald Terry, who will do the Pledge of Allegiance, and here he comes.
You'll actually see that I'm on the agenda somewhere else, but I wanted to kind of pay tribute to the founder of this event, Bob McGarvey, who's our city council member. So he's going to be speaking as the only speaker for the city. So if you'll join me in the pledge. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a young one there. Okay. The invocation will be by Reverend Song Kun Pak, or I should have said Pak Sung Kon. I really goofed that one up. Of the Sacramento Korean Presbyterian Church. Blew your name there for a minute.
Yes. Let's pray together.
And now, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and endless love of our Father and the unfailing guidance of our Holy Spirit shall be with the two warriors and their families who fought for the righteousness and the liberty of Korea, and also with the soldiers who are still fighting and defending the liberty around the world today, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. You may be seated. Now I'd like to have Mr. David Stockwell, Director of the VA Northern California Healthcare System, come up.
Well, good morning. Thank you for coming today. We're going to promise today not to forget. It's really a celebration of those that served in the Korean War. All veterans that are here today, we want to acknowledge as part of Memorial Day. I'm so thrilled to see so much of the community out here at the hospital joining with us today. The 11th annual Memorial Day celebration. Big thank you to the city of Rancho Cordova, the organizing committee, the many distinguished guests that have joined us here today, and most of all, to the veterans of the Korean War and your families. Thank you for joining us today. Before I get started, I would like to ask all veterans for just a moment if you can stand so that we can recognize you this morning. Thank you so much for your service to our country. I hope you hear that applause and the thanks for the liberty and the freedoms that we have here in America. We thank you so much for all that you've done. It was July of 1953 that the war ended after 3 years of battle to save South Korea from being overrun. That was almost 64 years ago. One of the most moving ceremonies I've been to in my entire VA career was the 60th celebration of the end of the Korean War 4 years ago. And a number of folks from South Korea came to the event, and they were sharing how their life had changed as a result of that intervention, of that conflict, of the outcome of that war, and their gratitude to the American soldiers. It was overwhelming to me. And when we think about the forgotten war and not coming home to ticker tape parades like the end of World War II, but just coming home quietly and going back about their business, and yet to see the profound gratitude of the Korean people that were recognizing them was very moving to me. It made me so proud to be an American and to be able to think of those that served in the Korean War so honorably, sometimes so treacherously, and for many, fatally, to be able to participate in that event. It was just a profound day. I hope we can do it justice today with some of the guest speakers that we have here today, and that you will leave today with a profound gratitude for being an American, for recognizing Memorial Day, for remembering those who gave all, and for being grateful for those that have served our country. The men would soon return home to their families, and as President Obama reminded us during the 60th anniversary, they could breathe a sigh of relief when the ships sailed underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, not too far from here, knowing that they had truly survived the war. More than 54,000 soldiers lost their lives during this conflict. These men trained together, they fought together, they lived together, and some of them died together. And even today, more than 7,800 are still missing in action. They were cold and hungry in a foreign land, but they fought for what they believed to be right. They fought for freedom. They fought for our freedom. To our Korean War veterans that are here today, and I apologize, you're probably going to have to stand so many times during the ceremony today, but can you stand one more time so that we can give some applause and deserve recognition to you? You deserve our very best. Some of you may know the Korean War as the Forgotten War, often being overshadowed by the Second World War. This was the war where men did not return home to praise or recognition, but just returned back to life and to work. We cannot forget these men, these women. We cannot let this remain the forgotten war. We cannot let our Korean War veterans be left out of the discussion. May we recognize and honor the veterans who came before us, especially those of the Korean War today. And to the veterans in today's audience, may God bless the United States of America, and may we always be the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Our next speaker is the Honorable Robert J. McGarvey, and he's chairman of the Memorial and Veterans Day Committee. Bob, you're up.
Good morning. Well, welcome to the city of Rancho Cordova. Welcome to the VA hospital. As you can see, it's a little bit different today than it has been in the past. We are expanding the Mather Hospital over here, so we don't have the room, but I think everyone can agree that this morning is kind of like Chamber of Commerce weather. It's exactly what you want. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. As a matter of fact, the shade is coming and taking care of everybody out in front rather than the other way around. So I'm not sure about, I think I like this, I think. We have one councilman who isn't here today, actually two. We already talked about Dan. But David Sander has a virus, and he expresses his regrets for not making it today. You know, it's a humbling experience to stand before every one of you today. Here at Mather, there are veterans from World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, and some smaller battles in between. I don't remember them all. But we've had young men and women go around the world to fight for freedom. There was a question once about why we're going around the world. We're after territory. The only land we've ever asked for was enough to bury the ones who didn't make it home. And while we're honoring all veterans, we are continuing to have a theme, and as you know, it's the Korean War. And the veterans over here, I'm so glad to see them. I'm so glad we have so many today. To have the Consul General here, to be able to also honor those veterans. The Korean Memorial and the statues of the soldiers who fought there present us with both majesty and toughness. We've seen those statues in Washington, D.C. in the mall. It just takes your breath away. You go when it's foggy and you can see their faces. They look like they're alive. They're looking with a steady gaze as they learned to rely on each other and to believe they were right as they answered the call to duty. We enjoy our freedoms because of them and because of you, the veterans who keep us free. I want to thank each and every one of you for making it today, for honoring our veterans, and for the Republic of Korea, working with them as we have with others around the world, has made this world a much larger free place than it is, than it would have been otherwise. Thank you all for coming today. And God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Bob. Now for our introductions, if I may. The Honorable Shin Chae-young, Consul General of the Republic of Korea in San Francisco, right here in front. Let's give him a big hand. The Honorable Dr. Ami Bera, U.S. Congress, California 7th District. Gabriela Herrera, Field Representative and VA Caseworker for Congresswoman Doris Matsui, 6th District. Glad to have you here. The Honorable Ted Gaines, California State District, Senate probably, 1st District. Landon Wolf, District Representative for Senator Jim Nelson, 4th District. Joe Debs, District Representative for Senator Richard Pan, 6th District. And this year, Ken, I'm not forgetting you. The Honorable Ken Cooley, California State Assembly, 8th District. Ken? Teresa Gunn, Deputy Secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs. And my friend who finally showed up after umpteen years, the Honorable Don Natoli, Sacramento County Board of Supervisor, 5th District. How about that? I'll be in trouble tomorrow. From the city of Rancho Cordova, Mayor Donald Terry. Terry, I know you're over in the back there. Vice Mayor Linda Budge. I'm going to mention Council Member David Sanders, even though he's home in bed. I give him a big hand. Chris Clark, Board Member, Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Oh, you got to stand up a little higher. They didn't see you. I missed you on the runway. Rick Sloan, Board Member, Cordova District, Cordova Recreation and Park District. Rick, where you at? Oh, he's got the camera. Gary Strong, CEO, Capital Region of the American Red Cross. Is he here? Gary, how are you? Have I missed any dignitaries? Now's the time to tell me. You got people waving hands back. I will get you later. My buddy was supposed to be taking over at this spot, but he's home with a migraine or terrific headache and couldn't make it, so I will continue on. On the recognition of all our veterans here, as your song is played, please stand. And the Marines, I don't want to hear nothing out of you this time. Tom, it's up to you. Take it away.
We'd now like to honor all those who have served with pride in the United States Armed Forces. So would you please stand if you are able, or raise your hand to be acknowledged when you hear your song as the band performs Armed Forces, Pride of America.
There we go. Start at 4. Start at 4. Roll on. 2, ready.
The United States Army. United States Marines. United States Navy. The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force.
Let's give them a big hand. They're fantastic. Now, as you all know, this is the 100th year since World War I. And believe me, somebody said earlier, you were there? And I said, nope, no part of it. And I was a little embarrassed because, normally it's the Civil War, but now I'm back to the World War I. Anyway, to honor those who have fallen and those who are with us still, of course, World War I isn't, the band will now play in honor of the fallen. Thank you. Beautifully done. Thank you, Tom. And now we'll have the ceremony placing of the wreaths. Entering from my right are Tal Norwood, President, William Boxell, and Gary Young, members of the National Sojourners Incorporated, Sacramento Chapter 133 and Heroes of 76. Also with them is John Myers, President, Max Schnell, Vice President of Youth Affairs, Ted Welch and Peter McGrockety, members of the Navy League of the United States, Sacramento Consul. Gentlemen, you're on.
Detail. Leo. Read. Ian. Harry. Leo. Forward.
Let's give him a big hand. And now we'll have the recognition of the newly placed bricks. Michael Kilburn, Chief of Police, VA Northern California Healthcare System, will do the honors.
Good morning, everyone. The Memorial Plaza began with a vision by local veterans who dreamed of a quiet place to this campus to reflect on the gift of great men and women who served in our military. In 2001, a group of local veterans, one of them, Mr. Joe Fracola, a World War II veteran, raised more than $400,000 in donations and dedicated more than 18,700 hours to making the dream come true. The theme of the plaza is coming home, as symbolized by the bronze statue of a medic returning home with his young daughter on his shoulders. The plaza was designed to hold 8,000 bricks. Since the dedication of the Memorial Plaza on May 25, 2006, a total of 2,309 bricks have been placed to honor those who have served. Each Memorial Day and Veterans Day, bricks will continue to be placed and honored until the plaza is full. As I read the names of those being honored, a representative of the donor will be escorted to the foot of the stage to place a flower near the brick that will be placed into the plaza during the coming week. G.W. Almendinger. A. Vasquez Jr. G.W. Almendinger. Roy and Martha Brewer. Peter L. Cravens. Robert W. DeRue. Is that you? Lauren C. Dispro. James Hargrove Jr. Gary A. Holzglaw. William LaBelle. Jack McKee. Raymond Murphy. E. W. Neal. G.W. Pete Rogers. Roger N. Roselle. Michael Seacrest. Charles Stewart. Harold Wattell. Ken Willis. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Michael. Well, here we go again. Anyway, I want to thank the Kyle Swinford, who is the son of Rick Swinford. He's a Navy Sea cadet. And the junior ROTC group from Rancho Cordova High School. They did a great job. Thank you. And now we get into our guest speaker, and the first one up is Dr. Ami Bera, U.S. Congress, California 7th District. Hey.
Well, I want to thank Bob, first of all, and the city of Rancho Cordova. Memorial Day is one of our most solemn days because it is a time when we come together as a nation to pay honor and tribute to our fallen heroes. And I'm particularly proud that while it's not Veterans Day, that we're taking the time to thank the veterans of the Korean War, but all veterans. If you think about the history of the Korean War, June 25th, when North Korea invaded the southern peninsula, there was a call to duty. And many of the men and women that stepped up and answered that call had no idea where the Korean peninsula was. Yet they answered that call because of an idea that is innate to who we are as Americans. This idea of freedom, of liberty, of giving people that chance to reach their full potential. They didn't know where they were going, but they were called to defend those principles, and they answered that call. And on this Memorial Day, as generations of Americans have answered that call, it's incredibly important for us to remember that idea of America. Because we are a great nation, but we're a nation that is founded upon those principles of liberty, of freedom, of opportunity, of justice. And too often we forget that preciousness of those ideas. And 2 years ago, I had a chance to go visit the Republic of Korea, to go visit with our troops, because make no mistake about it, the conflict continues today as we speak. When you go to the DMZ, and you see our troops standing next to the Republic of Korean troops, we know that there are those enemies that would want to take away those freedoms, those liberties, that pursuit of the ideals that our country was founded upon. And on this day, let's thank and give praise to those fallen heroes, their families, but let's also take a moment to step back and appreciate what it means to be an American, what it means to have those ideas, and the fact that we will always honor our commitments to stand with our friends around the world who stand with those values of freedom, of opportunity, of liberty, of democracy, because that's who we are as Americans. So God bless our fallen heroes. God bless our veterans and their families. God bless the men and women that today stand up and protect who we are and those values that our country represents. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
You have to give me a few minutes, I'm getting a little slow. Our next speaker is the Honorable Ted Gaines, California State Senate, 1st District.
Hello, what a beautiful day. Wasn't that awesome music that we've heard this morning? Let's give a round of applause to the band. Thank you so much. It's a privilege for me to be here to honor the dedication and sacrifice of the men and women of the American military who have fallen in service to this country, and to the families who raised these soldiers, who built families with them, who loved and supported them, who waited nervously when they were fighting across the world who welcomed them home with love and understanding, and who suffered the worst grief and loss that anyone could imagine when they gave their lives for us. It's not too much to say that you served right along with them. Thank you. Our country is stronger because of you. You helped turn our military into something special, to make them the best of the best. And I want to talk a little today about the strength of the fighting men and women who have protected the United States. Because it's not the guns and planes and ships that make the American military what it is. Every nation has them. It's not the uniforms, although they wear them with well-deserved pride. What keeps us safe, what makes our fighting forces the envy of the world, is the strength of the people, the strength of the men and women themselves that makes our military the mightiest on earth. Since the birth of this nation, it's been the American spirit that sets our soldiers apart. With no shoes on their feet and rags for clothing at Valley Forge, they did not quit. They dug deep into the trenches in the fields of Europe. They did not quit. In close combat in the steaming jungles of Vietnam, they did not quit. Today, I want to pay special tribute to the warriors who gave their all in Korea, who are a special breed of tough and determined. In the history of the American military and engagements all across the world, the icy hell of Korea may have been the absolute worst. Now, what usually happens when things freeze? They slow down, they get brittle, they break. But not the American soldiers of Korea. With the world fighting around them at Chosin Reservoir, they did not quit. God bless those men who fought and died in Korea. Their heroism will never be forgotten as long as there is an America and as long as the people value freedom and bravery. I say it again, there is no quit in the American military. You cannot break their fighting spirit. I think back to Pearl Harbor, an attack intended to do more than destroy our Navy. The Japanese believed it would demoralize us, that we would quickly give in and let them rule the Pacific. That was one of the greatest miscalculations in history. America locked arms and stood firm against aggression. Pearl Harbor did not drain us of our courage. It filled our fighting men and their families with a resolute purpose. 6 months later, at the Battle of Midway, our country demolished the fighting power of the Japanese Navy. Military historian John Keegan called it the most stunning and decisive blow in the history of naval warfare. The war took years to conclude, but the lesson on the character of the American military was swift. They did not break. On this day of solemn remembrance, I am proud to say that the United States military is the finest the world has ever known. Because of the fighting men and women who defend us, the finest in the world has ever known. It is our soldiers whose blood washed the stain of slavery off our shores. It is the soldiers who broke the Nazis and stopped the horrors of the Holocaust. It is our soldiers who fought around the globe to preserve our freedom from the challenge of the communists. That is our legacy. That is what they purchased with their courage and bravery and with their lives. May God bless the men and women who have died defending this greatest nation. Thank you. God bless.
The Honorable Ken Cooley, California State Assembly, 8th District. Ken?
It is a great honor to be here on this Memorial Day, this National Day of Remembrance, and it is well to remember all the campaigns. Today we think particularly of the Korean War conflict. This was a war which was like wars of old in the sense that folks at home did not know immediately what was going on. The world's evolution of communication left people uncertain in a different way. There was more coverage of Vietnam. There's been more coverage in later years. For all of those we remember today, those who did not return, the speed of communication does not change the pain of the adverse news that a loved one has been lost. But so I just want to acknowledge in this way that this is a National Day of Remembrance of those who did not return home. And for those who get that news, life changes in that instant. I've looked forward to this Memorial Day, the chance to be here, the chance to think, to reflect. In my own life, my duties changed this year. I became chair of something called the Rules Committee, the Joint Rules Committee in the legislature, and this gives me some responsibility for our Capitol Park. Our Capitol Park, where in January of this year, we lost 3 trees with a connection to American history, to our Civil War. It has caused me to think a great deal about this year and Abraham Lincoln. It has caused me to think a great deal about this year, Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War and what he faced. You know, he became president, was inaugurated when a number of states had already left the Union. So he entered leadership at a time of great tension and division in our country. And I sort of feel that we struggle with that in our era. Not in the same magnitude, not states leaving, but division in American life. And I want to tell you about those 3 trees very briefly. A 90-foot tulip fell in the wind and rain of January 18th this year in Capitol Park. That tree fell to the west. It rained down on an American elm. The American elm broke off about 20 feet above ground, and its branches and trunk fell on a box elder. So what is the story of these trees? How does it relate to our memorial today? The tulip tree was from Five Forks, Virginia. This was a 2-day battle fought on March 31st, April 1st, 1865. It was an epic battle, and 8 days later, that war ended. So the Battle of Five Forks, Virginia, which that tree signified, that tree had been in our park for 120 years, was tied to a milestone within a week of the end of that war. The box elder, the 3rd tree, was from Missionary Ridge, Tennessee. That was a battle that was fought on November 25th, 1863. The Civil War was still unfolding. A very important battle in the western regions of our nation. And that battle was less than a week after Abraham Lincoln delivered his Gettysburg Address. So it's been a year in which I've been thinking about a divided nation, Abraham Lincoln and his challenges, how he focused the nation's attention. And I realized that Abraham Lincoln, when he was inaugurated in 1861, with the nation already falling apart, was trying to understand, how do you pull this nation back together? And in 1861, he did that by invoking the memory of those who had died in the Revolutionary War. He was talking about 80 years past, patriots' graves. Patriots' graves that ought to remind us of what our nation is about, that we would not lose what holds us together. By 1863, he was now standing at Gettysburg, where thousands of Americans, North and South, had died. It's no longer death from 80 years ago, it's death from months ago. And so I would just like to conclude on this Memorial Day with the words of Abraham Lincoln and the challenge that we all take it to heart. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here, and by this we now embrace all Americans who died in all of our conflicts. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. I just thank you for the privilege to join you on this National Day of Mourning 2017, to honor those who have gone before, who gave that last full measure of devotion, to ensure that they have not died in vain, and that, if I may invoke that one uniquely American word from our Pledge of Allegiance, that we all, as we seek a better future for us and our children and our communities, might be indivisible. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ken. Our next speaker will be Teresa Gunn, Deputy Secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs.
Good morning. I'd like to start my comments by thanking David Stockwell, the Honorable Donald Terry, and Honorable Robert J. McGarvey for hosting us today. And thank you to all my esteemed colleagues who are also here today. I also want to recognize the Honorable Consul General Shin. Thank you for being here today. It is my privilege to be here with you today to honor the brave and courageous Americans who gave their lives to service to our nation. Today, we are also giving special recognition to our veterans who fought for peace during the Korean War. This day reminds all Americans to pause and reflect on our loss and to take pride in the courage of those who fought to protect our freedoms and our ideals. We will always remember you. We, who benefit from your sacrifice, will always pay tribute to your service and your memory on behalf of our great country. We also honor those who put themselves in harm's way on our behalf and were fortunate enough to come home. I honor the memory of my father, a veteran who served 28 years in the Air Force. I thank my husband, Larry, for his service in the Air Force. I've always respected and admired their courage and dedication to this nation. And to my 7 brothers who also served in the Air Force, Army National Guard, and Army Reserves. Like all of you here today who have served or are still serving, my husband, father, and brother's bravery and valor is commendable. We at Calvet take great pride in assisting veterans who served in our nation's military and returned home. We work in close partnership with the federal VA, counties and local communities, veteran service organizations, and nonprofits as we all strive to honor our social contract with our veterans. The city of Rancho Cordova, with its proud military history, is a shining example of how a community lifts up its veterans population. For example, Mather Veterans Village, not far from where we are right now. We are proud to be a partner in that community. That village works hard to create a safe, strong community where veterans escaping homelessness can get services they need to thrive. Thank you for all that you do as a community to honor their service, and thank you to those in this gathering who have also served. On behalf of Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr. and Dr. Vito Imbasciani, Secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs, thank you for allowing me to join you today. Now I'd like to present a proclamation from Governor Brown, which reads, "On Memorial Day, we pay tribute to Americans who have suffered and died in war. The custom of marking this day originated just after the Civil War. To help heal the wound of war, Americans in all parts of the country began decorating the graves of the dead with flowers, a universal symbol of the renewal of life. As a small step in the lengthy task of reuniting a nation divided, we chose to honor all the dead, Union and Confederate, regardless of our own allegiances during that terrible struggle. After the First World War, we expanded our observance to honor all Americans who have fought and died in any of our nation's wars. In 1971, the United States Congress declared Memorial Day to be a national holiday observed on the last Monday in May. Today, Governor Brown asks all Californians to pay tribute to our fallen military heroes. In their memory, he has ordered that the flags be flown at half-staff on all state buildings and grounds throughout the state. In addition, he asks you to participate in the National Moment of Remembrance and pause at 3 p.m. today for a moment of silence to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Now, therefore, Edmund G. Brown Jr., Governor of the State of California, does hereby proclaim May 29, 2017 as Memorial Day. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Honorable Don Natoli, Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, 5th District. Don?
Well, thank you, Bob, and good morning to all of you. Before I offer you a few words, I would like to have you join me in a round of applause for Bob Burns and the great job he does every year this time. He has a great sense of patriotism and certainly a great sense of humor, and he can even lead the band every once in a while, so you all notice that. So good job over there, River City Band. Well, I'm very pleased and honored to be able to join with you this morning here in Rancho Cordova at the Mather Veterans Plaza, here in front of the Medical Center at Mather, and to join with people throughout the United States of America in commemorating the men and women who, as we've heard and as we've acknowledged already and will continue to throughout this day, have given their lives in service to our great nation. We all know, too, that war is a tragic and horrible thing, and yet humankind has made little progress in overcoming it. For in regions throughout the world today, conflicts continue to rage on, and millions upon millions of people live in terror and peril. But in the midst of these terrible and seemingly unending conflicts, we pause for a time this morning to honor all those Americans who have fought so courageously to defend freedom and end oppression in our world. And on this Memorial Day, we remember them for their valor, for their sacrifice, in answering the call to respond to serve this country in faraway places throughout the world. It's also imperative that we take time to reflect on the human tragedy of war, of lives lost and dreams never realized, and that we not take for granted our freedoms and security. And at this solemn ceremony today, highlighting the military service of those who fought and served in the Korean War, we remember the nearly 200,000 American and South Korean troops who died during that more than 3 years of armed conflict with the North Koreans and the Chinese military forces. There's no words that can really say thank you, but I think in our hearts and minds we need to pray for God's blessing upon them. Many of those veterans are here today, for their valor, for their selfless courage in defense of freedom and liberty. This spirit of selfless sacrifice is an unbroken thread woven through the fabric of our nation's history. Wherever these citizen soldiers came from, wherever they served, our fallen heroes knew full well they were fighting to preserve and to protect our freedom. Today, we remember them for all they gave on the battlefield, and we acknowledge that we stand as a great, proud, and free nation because of their courage and devotion, in some cases, the ultimate sacrifice. From the Revolutionary War to the Civil War, to the great world wars of the 20th century, from Korea to Vietnam, and from the mountains of Afghanistan to the deserts of Kuwait and Iraq, from generation to generation, for more than 240 years, Americans have stood for what is right and what is good. And many have given the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, for their country and their fellow Americans. And for that, we forever owe them our lasting and profound gratitude. The essence of why we are here today, to pay tribute and homage to every great American who served, and as we highlight, as I said, those who served in the Korean conflict, and especially to those who died for this great country of ours, let us offer our thoughts and prayers for the welfare and safety of all those men and women and their families, those who have served, those who have died, those who continue to serve, who every day protect and serve this nation and keep it free and protect all those things that we hold so true and so dear. And so with that, on this Memorial Day 2017, I offer my thanks and appreciation to all those in the audience who are veterans and who have served this country honorably. To all those who perished, we remember them. We keep them in our hearts and our minds. I say, God bless them, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
And now the band will play A Hero's Return.
This is a new selection for this ceremony and begins with a musical celebration to commemorate a hero's return to friends and family. The piece then moves into a quiet tribute as a way to honor the memories of heroes who are no longer with us. Finally, the initial theme returns to offer hope for the safe return of all our heroes who bravely served this nation. We hope you all enjoy Douglas A. Richards' A Hero's Return.
you, Tom. I think every city in the country would like to have a concert band like this. They're fantastic. Our keynote speaker today, and if the flyover comes, should be in about 5 minutes or less or whatever, we'll stop whatever we're doing and wait for it to fly over. Our keynote speaker is Shin Chae-young, Consul General of the Republic of Korea in San Francisco since April of 2006. Most recently, he served as Director General for North American Affairs in charge of the Korean bilateral relations with the U.S. and Canada from 2015 to 2016. Prior to this, he was Ambassador and Director General for North Korea's Korean nuclear affairs from 2014 to 2015, and Director General for Human Resources from 2013 to 2014. He has been a career diplomat for 30 years. His foreign posts include First Secretary at the Korean Permanent Mission to the United Nations from 1994 to 1997. Consular at the Korean Embassy Senegal from 1997 to 2001. Director for Political Affairs at the Korean Embassy in the United States from 2002 to 5. Senior Consul at the Korean Consulate General in New York from 2008 and 2011, and Deputy Consul General in Hong Kong from 2011 to 2012. He has assumed various positions in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Director of Human Resource Management from 2001 to 2, Director for Protocol from 2005 to 7, and Director of North American Affairs in charge of overall relations between the ROK and the U.S. from 2007 to 2008. He received a BA in Communications at Seoul National University in Korea and MPhil in International Relations at the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom. He was awarded the Citation of the Foreign Minister in 1990 and the Service Merit Medal of the Korean government in 2006. He is married and has one daughter and one son. So at this time, I would like to call him up. Before I do, I think at every one of these functions, we forget the wife. So would you stand up, Mrs. Shin, and let's give her a hand. If they fly over, I'll let you know.
I can take care of it. Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you very much, Bob, for your very elaborate and also kind introduction. Wow, I've not realized that I've done so many things in my 30-year career. Today, first of all, I'm very much honored and also pleased to meet all of you, the citizens of the beautiful city of Rancho Cordova. Thank you very much for a warm welcome for me and my wife. Actually, 2 years ago, out of this audience, I met the Congressman Ami Bera, one of my friends back in Korea, when he visited Korea. At that time, over dinner, he extended the invitation to me to visit his district. At that time, I had no idea. Like the servicemen, military servicemen, we diplomat does not know our next post well in advance. So I had no idea at that time. But last year, I came to the city of the Rancho Cordova to open the public Korean section at one of your public the libraries. And there I met Vice Mayor Linda Budge, who kindly invited me to today's event. And all these things actually started with this kind of through this kind of series of events. I'll stop now, as directed by our MC. Wow, great. Give a big hand to the, yeah. I guess they might fly during the Korean War, 67 years ago. They look like P51, don't they?
They might come back again, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So this is the land of liberty and freedom. So let's go ahead and then adjust as we go we are going by. So so all these things started in this way, and I've got addicted to the warm hospitality of city of Rancho Cordova. And today, I really appreciate the mayor, Mayor Terry, and also the councilman McGarvey for the great efforts to host today's event. I've attended many Memorial Day service here in the United States. Actually, this is my 11th year as a Korean diplomat serving in this great country. And I've attended many, and this is particularly meaningful for me and my wife because this is the first time that the Memorial Day service focuses on the Korean War veterans. You, America, thank you very much. Many people in this country doubt or call the Korean War as the forgotten war. As a representative of the Republic of Korea, I'm here today with you to categorically deny that term. There they come again. Okay, going that way. So I'm here today to deny and reject that term, the forgotten war. And now I'd like to, on this solemn day, I'd like to reflect on and appreciate the great accomplishment and also contributions of you Americans to the peace, security, and prosperity not only of the United States of America, but also of the entire world. In modern history, you Americans have fought to defend the liberty and freedom of many people around the world. During the First World War, to save Europeans, and then during the Second World War to save all the people around the world. And as a result, you Americans gave us the new life and also freedom in 1945 when you ended the Second World War with victory. You liberalized the fledgling Korea from then Japanese colonial rule. And in 5 years' time, in 1950, the North Korean communists, heavily backed by then Soviet Union and later by the Red Chinese Armed Forces, invaded Korea, South Korea. You, the brave people of the land of freedom, rushed to a country that you had not known before, and for the people that you had not met before. So, we Koreans, for the Koreans, how could we forget about what you did to us 67 years ago? First, you saved our lives. Life is the foremost important thing, and then you saved our lives. And then second, you defended and protected our liberty and freedom by ensuring the noble ideology and ideas that our previous speakers mentioned before. And thirdly, you sowed the seed for precious alliance and partnership between our two nations. Now, I'd like to introduce to you and then share with you some successful, marvelous story of how far a long way we come together. 67 years ago, you one-sidedly helped us and then saved us and then protected us. So after the 3-year war, Korea went down to ashes. From ashes, we Koreans have developed one of the most vibrant democracies in the world and also one of the most advanced economies in the world. It changes day by day, year by year, but 10 to 12 every time, so not more than 13, 14 places. Okay, think about that. So with this enhanced status and also resources, we Koreans would like to pay back what we owe to you American servicemen, veterans, and you American people. After the Korean War, we've been fighting together in Vietnam, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and at this moment, more than 1,000 Korean soldiers are serving in other parts of the world to defend other people's liberty and freedom. For example, Southern Sudan and Southern Lebanon. And one frigate ship, Navy frigate ship, is operating the sea off the Somalia at this moment. What a great alliance we've been forging. But this alliance all started with and forged in your blood, you U.S. Korean War veterans. I thank you very much. So today, here, we have Korean War veterans too. So the attendance of these two Korean War veterans is a symbol of the very close and staunch alliance. But our alliance did not stop just at the military and security alliance. Since then, we have been evolving and we have been developing our alliance into the true global comprehensive partnership. About 2 years ago, when our two presidents met in Washington, D.C., they proudly declared the comprehensive global and strategic partnership between our two nations. So now we are working together to help those who are in dire need in other parts of the world in the field of development assistance, humanitarian assistance, and environmental protection and climate change fighting. And also, we are working closely with each other to promote human rights, to share the same ideology, noble ideology, and also universal values with more and more people around the world. So by doing so, we have been working together. We are, as a great allies and partners, we've been working together for the peace and security and prosperity of the entire world. What other example do we need further to prove that your service, your valiant and heroic services and dedicated services 67 years ago are in vain? So you deserve all the appreciation, all the respect and honor. And also those fallen veterans deserve all the tribute from our heart and minds. So today, thank you very much. And you are a true living testament to the great American leadership and also you are the founding fathers of the Korea-US alliance and partnership. So today, as a small token of our great appreciation, I'd like to solemnly award the Ambassador for Peace Medal to the very valiant and brave U.S. Korean War veterans who risked their lives for the freedom, liberty of the Republic of Korea. God bless America, God bless Korea, and God bless Korea-U.S. alliance and great partnership. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir. And now, as I call your names, please come up, and we're running a little behind, so I won't say fast, but fairly fast. All right, we got Floyd Ray Baker. First one up. And then Alfonso Cervantes, please follow it. There you go. Billy D. Cross. I'll slow it down. This is Billy, yes. Next one up, Earl Hummel. Earl. Do we have an Earl Hummel, Hummel? You there? William B. Johnston. Herbert T. Powell. Andrew Flink, F-L-I-N-K. Do we have Andrew Flink? Oh, hey, okay, good. Getting a little ahead. Wallace Morgan. Wallace Morgan. Oh, okay. Marion Nussbaum. Leroy Ku Kendall. Leroy, Kuykendall. Okay. Gordon M. Work. Robert V. Arlanes, Arellanes. Dennis J. Clement. Robert Timberlake. John A. Carlson. And Sam Guerrero. Joseph D. Chavez, Chaves. Chaves? You can't win them all. Connolly Ward. The next is Kenneth Edwin Hortz, Houtz, and his Sandra Boyd will be accepting on his behalf. Sandra? Well, we're going to see what we got left, and we'll go from there.
Russell is my name, and I was here in 1950.
No, that's That's Sandra. She's taking it for Kenneth. Now, how many we got left over? I got 2 over here. And I need a John Henry, N-A-N-I-S-U. Naniazzi. Thank you, sir. You can tell I'm not too good at pronouncing names.
Clyde Russell. Frank Epstein.
We're going to take care of them. Wait a minute, hold on a second. What we got?
He's standing right there, Clyde Russell. And
Clyde
then,
Russell, okay.
And then this gentleman here. Tell him your name, love.
This is Clyde Russell. And what's your name?
Frank
Frank
Abdeen. A-B-D-E-E-N.
A-B-D-E-E-N. Frank Abdeen. You don't have, well, I got these are extra ones. I got 2 of them. Huh? You got that one there. Frank Abdeen. If there was anyone who we might have missed who hasn't signed up, if you'll get with me after the program, we'll see that you get the medal and so forth, because they only brought a certain number up.
And Bob Bird.
I know we're running a little late. Sorry about that, David, but every year I try to do this, my buddy, because I think it represents what Armistice Day is all about. Not Armistice, well, Armistice Day. Memorial Day. I'm in good shape. It happens when you get young, lapse of memory. So if you're going to accompany me there, Tom, I'll do it slowly. This song is called My Buddy. And if you listen to the words, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Nights are long since you went away. I think about you all through the day. My buddy, nobody quite so true. Miss your voice, the touch of your hand, you understand. My buddy, your buddy misses you. Thank you. Thanks, Tom. It's a beautiful song. Now I'd like to introduce the members of our committee who next month we'll be getting a debriefing on how we goofed or how I goofed or whatever, and there's a lot there. And we meet all year long. So our head man is Councilman Robert J. McGarvey. Bob, will you stand, please? Ashley downtown, where's she at? She scurries around here. I don't know, she's the main gal. And Delisa Verdun, where's she at? City of Rancho Cordova. That gal's something else. Lorraine Alm, City of Rancho Cordova. Maria Niestead, City of Rancho Cordova. From the VA Northern California Healthcare System, Tara Ricks, Chief Public Relations Officer, or Chief of Public Affairs Officer. She had her 2 little kids here. Boy, they are cute. I got to get that in because she was Army, and you know, we stick together. Maria Alms, Chief of Veterans Volunteer Services, and I don't know what we'd do without her. She keeps taking leave, though, David. I don't understand that one, but that's all right. John Nolan Parisa, who is not here, he's generally the photographer. Rick Swinford, who got sick this morning, U.S. Navy veteran. Vernon Winthrop, VF Post 10125. Where's Vernon? Right there. Colin Wallace, Republic Services. Is he here? And Janice Foster Downs, Republic Services, and yours truly, Bob Burns, Rancho Cordova Elks Lodge. If the bagpiper is ready, we'll do Amazing Grace. Oh, here. Please stand. Thank you very much, Rob. Roy. I will have the Reverend Song Pong Pak come up for the benediction.
Before benediction, I have one thing to tell you. We all Koreans are given endless respect and thanks to Korean war veterans and the United States of America. We know freedom is not free. Without your sacrifice and dedication, South Korea we know today would never have existed. For that, I express my utmost respect and gratitude. God bless America. Let's pray. And now, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and endless love of our Father and the unfailing guidance of the Holy Spirit shall be with the two warriors and their families who fought for the righteousness and the liberty of Korea, and also with the soldiers who are still fighting and defending the liberty around the world today, forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pleasure. Retire the colors, please.
Color guard, and judge. Forward, march. Ready, halt. Right wheel, march. Ready, halt. About face. Retrieve colors. About face. Color guard, fall in. Forward, march.
Let's give these young people a big hand. They're really great. Now, if you want to remain standing, you've been sitting long enough, I'll acknowledge some of the sponsors and we'll get on with it. The VA Northern California Healthcare System and the City of Rancho Cordova for all they have done to make this ceremony possible. Alpha Graphics for their terrific programs and posters, and you have them and they do a super job. American Legion Auxiliary, Consul General of the Republic of Korea in San Francisco. Jake Sharash, BMJ Productions. He handles all the mics. It went out a little bit earlier. I'm going to talk to him about it. American Red Cross, Gold Country Region, Cordova High School, U.S. Air Force Junior ROTC, Daughters of the American Revolution, the Elite Party Rentals, and they did a beautiful job putting that tent up, I'll tell you. You had to be here yesterday when the wind came up and it started going that way and this way. Got it done. Leonard Yates, Post 709, American Legion, National Sojourners Incorporated, Sacramento Chapter, 133, and the Heroes of 76. Photographer, Don Rahillo and Modesto Yabera. Rancho Cordova, Boy Scout Troop 363 and Compact Scout 28. A very special thanks to the Rancho Cordova River City Council Band for the great music, and also thanks to three of its members, Tom Seaton, Larry Momack, and everybody's wondering where the other third is. Her mother is having problems, and she's 24/7 there, and that's Mrs. Swartz, right? Janice Swartz. She sang the national anthem last night. Republic Services, Rob Roy Piper, Navy League of the United States, Sacramento Consul, Shannon Abbey, National Anthem, Soldiers Angels, United States Navy Sea Cadets, Sacramento Division, Veterans of Foreign War, Post number 10125, Vulture Row Formation Team, and the volunteers who assisted with logistics and setup. Give them all a big hand. And now to close this off, as we always do, we moved it to the end. Gentlemen and ladies, you're on. God bless America, and hopefully nobody has forgot the words, but if you have, they're on the back of the program. Huh. thank everyone for coming out today. God bless the United States of America. Have a safe journey home. This concludes our program. Thank you.